Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon Build series video. Today we have Feraligatr, who I just realised I've been spelling wrong this entire time. Good thing I caught that now, so that when I upload it, I don't upload it with the wrong name. Anyway, it is the final evolution of the water type for Gen 2, and it is, I don't know, like the last two have been kind of cutesy. I feel like that's kind of the way it is with starter Pokemon, is the first Pokemon, like for the starters, like the fire, the grass, the water, the first one, the base evolution, or I guess just the base Pokemon, is super cute. And then the first evolution is, it's 50-50 I guess, but I would say they lean more towards being cute than not. And maybe they like got a little bit of like, I don't want to say scariness to them, but they start to get a little bit like not just 100% cutesy, like it's still cute, but it's not 100% cutesy. And then the last one, that's kind of where it goes to being sort of, I don't want to say scary because like it doesn't scare me, but the quote unquote scary vibes. And I guess that's what Feraligatr is. And I don't know if that's even how you say it. I'm totally guessing. But yeah, with this build, I had an idea in mind and I didn't quite nail it, but I'm pretty happy with the evolution of where we moved to. So the idea for this build was sort of a really spooky house on a swamp, and it kind of just turned into a swamp house that looks kind of cool, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, there's definitely stuff in here that I could fix and have done completely differently. Originally, I was just going to do base game, and I feel like that probably would have given me the more spooky vibes. I could have lent into it a lot more. I also could have lent a little bit more into some of the packs, and I don't think I used a kit. Some of the packs that I used. But yeah, I don't know, it was definitely interesting to try and do this build because, I don't know, I had this idea in mind and it turned out completely different to what I was kind of expecting. So it kind of transformed into a sort of like a werewolf and vampire home. So in this build, I only used life and death, horse ranch, werewolves, and vampires. Now, I know I've used some of these packs already for some of the starters for this gen already, and ideally that wasn't what I was meant to do. Ideally I wasn't meant to use them, I was meant to use different ones, which is why originally I was going with just base game. But I had this idea in my head, and yeah, I wanted to use these items, so I ended up picking these packs, and I don't know. It just feels very odd the way I've put it all together, and there's just something missing, and I'm not sure what that something is. So yeah, let me know down below, what do you think is missing from this build when we actually get towards the end of it? What is the thing that I did wrong? Because I for sure did something wrong. There's something that just does not line up. But I did have a lot of fun with this build. It was definitely interesting to try and create a swamp in, is this Newcrest? I don't even know the worlds anymore. There's so many of them. But yeah, the reason why I struggled a little bit is because of all of the buildings in the background across the, I guess the pond, the lake in the background. They're all there and there's not much I can do about it. So I tried to try and blend it in as best I could. There's also a build next door that I could have just deleted that. And that would have made my life a little bit easier, but I decided not to. I just thought, you know what, let's just have the little fun of the challenge of can I try and avoid seeing this build in the screenshots and stuff like that, in the short when I record it finally. And I feel like I did okay. It was alright. Nothing fantastic, but yeah, there's definitely bits and pieces that you still definitely sort of see, which, at the end of the day, that's okay. I'm not too mad at that. As long as the big city in the background you kind of don't see, it works out. Now, yeah, I don't know. With this build also, I was trying to make it seem like not spooky and abandoned, but like some place that you don't really want to go, you know? It's like, the people there are kind of scary. I don't really want to hang out with them, you know? That's the sort of vibe I was going for, and I totally missed it. I totally missed that mark. But I'm still pretty happy with how this build turned out. I do realize that quite a few of these builds have been a bit, I don't want to say swampy, but swampy. There's lots of swamp vibe builds going on, and I'm not necessarily mad at that. I've been trying to do like heaps of pretty builds here and there, and it just yeah. Sometimes I just want to do a stinky little feral build, and I wouldn't even call this a stinky feral little build, but like when I say stinky feral little build, I just mean a build that is simply not a build that you would look at it and go, wow, that's gorgeous, that's pretty, that's phenomenal and amazing, and you know, just like the prettiest thing I've ever seen. I don't necessarily want to always do pretty builds. I do sometimes like picking things that are a little bit more run down. You know, again, this house, like I say again, I say a lot in a lot of my videos that it's simply the bones are good, the furnishing makes it look grungy and dirty, you know, like it's but even in this build, like the actual furnishing isn't gross, like it's not bad, it's just older style, you know, it's not modern and fresh. And I think that's what I'm trying to say, is I want to try and do some more builds that aren't so modern all the time. I feel like that's something I definitely do quite a lot, and I don't know, it just, yeah, there's only so many times you can do it before you get bored of it, and I just want to do something a little bit different. So yeah, I don't know, let me know down below, what's your go-to build style, and how long can you build with it before you get insanely bored and want to build something new? Because I do love building, and I do love building such different things, but I get into these mindsets of like, I really want to build in this style. Like at the moment, I know a lot of people who have early access to the Get to Nature pack are doing a lot of Get to Nature, and even people who don't are doing like a lot of fairy themed cottage builds, and you know, that's great. It's so smart. It's the best time to do it. But I don't really feel like doing a fairy cottage, so I'm not going to. And I know a lot of people would be like, well, everyone wants to see fairy cottages right now. Like, no one's gonna want to look at your builds because that's not a fairy cottage. But I don't really mind that. You know, it's something that, at the end of the day, that if you are wanting to escape it, then I've got that little build for you. This is not a fairy cottage. In fact, this is, towards the end, it ends up being that there is a vampire who lives here and a werewolf as well. I realized pretty quickly that the bedroom that I furnished, it wasn't meant to be for anyone in particular, but I furnished it pretty sparsely, and then I was like, well, it kind of makes sense for in-game vampires, because I'm pretty sure they don't really sleep all that often. Like, why would a vampire need a bedroom when, yeah, they don't really sleep all that often, and they wouldn't spend a lot of time in there. So it's, yeah, pretty sparsely furnished. They've got their own simple bathroom. Again, they probably don't use it much themselves, but if they have a guest over, the guest can use the bathroom. However, there is a walk-in closet, because just because you're a vampire and you are no longer living does not mean you are not fashionable. So if you are a fashionable vampire, do not worry. There is a lot more wardrobe space in the vampire room than the werewolf room, and the vampire room is downstairs. I think the only windows I think are only in the bathroom. I might have added one on the side of the building, but yeah, there's not really much chance for the sunlight to come in. Also, you live in a swamp, so yeah, there's lots of greenery. I say greenery, but lots of nature. That's probably the better word. Lots of nature around. So yeah, there's lots of places to kind of hide away from the sun. Now, if you're a vampire who can go in the sun, and you do like the sun, probably a terrible place for you. But if you're a vampire who doesn't like the sun or can't go out in the sun, it's probably a little bit better. It's, yeah, nice and secluded and hidden away. And then, yeah, upstairs is kind of like the werewolf area. Like that's where the werewolf hangs out. So there is a big bathroom up there, a big bedroom, and an office space. I imagine the vampire probably works elsewhere, or the office upstairs could be the vampire's office and the werewolf works out in the field. I don't know. Whatever your werewolf's job is, whatever your vampire's job is, there is a home office. And I did kind of swap back and forward between a lot of the different furnishing styles. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different furnishing styles, and it's definitely something interesting. I don't know if I necessarily would have done this if I wasn't pack restricted. I definitely would have built something completely different if I wasn't pack restricted. But I'm still pretty happy with how it turned out. The greenery, like the landscaping, I'm not entirely sure that's exactly what I was going for, but it's what we ended up with, and still really not mad at that. It's something that, like, you know, I'm trying to challenge myself and learn and be a bit better and just do some things a bit differently and a bit more exciting, you know? So yeah, I'm definitely trying to have a bit more fun with this whole process, because sometimes I do stress myself out, and by sometimes I mean quite a lot. And I actually got this build done all yesterday, so yeah, I talked to yesterday in the video I recorded about, you know, I'm just gonna build, and whatever happens, happens, whatever doesn't happen, doesn't happen, and I'll just roll with that. And I did this build, and I actually started on tomorrow's build, so I got ahead a little bit. And then, yeah, woke up this morning and planned to do something, and my brain went, you should scroll on social media for 3 hours straight instead. So that's what I ended up doing. Not gonna lie, yeah, did get very distracted this morning, and I actually am a little mad at that, but that's, you know, sometimes your brain needs that a little bit. But I am definitely feeling a lot more productive at the moment. It's probably because I just ate. I don't know, I was feeling really hungry this morning, but I'm not very food motivated, I guess is the word. Like, I don't feel bothered to make food. I'm the sort of person, like, if it's there to pick up and eat, I will do that for breakfast. But once it starts to get to lunch and dinner, then yeah, I'll actually start to put effort in, because I'm, you know, hungry and I want to eat. So yeah, I did make myself a spinach and ricotta roll for lunch, and by make it I mean I put it in the air fryer and waited for it to cook. And while I did that, I edited this video, and I also put a load of laundry on. So yeah, I don't know, doing a little bit better, doing a little bit more focused. What are words? Who knows? Not me. Anyway, look, I swear every day I wake up and I'm like, that cold still hasn't gone anywhere. Like, it's still here, it's still hanging out, and I'm getting over it. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, what else can I do? I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself, and it's just not going anywhere. So yeah, still a little all over the place. My brain is not 100% present and available, but my building is not suffering. I mean, the build that I've got coming out for tomorrow, which I have started on, I do have to finish, I already really, really like where it's going. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know. And it's also in a world that I've not really built a lot in, so it's kind of fun and exciting, and yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with that and see how that goes. I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, I sometimes get into this rut of not knowing what to build, not knowing how to build, not knowing, like, I just can't put two thoughts together. I can't even string a sentence together, like, putting two walls down side by side, like, what do I do with them? But yeah, yesterday I had this idea, and it actually, like, sometimes I'll have an idea and I can see in my mind a portion of the build. So for this build in particular, I kind of saw the entryway. Doesn't look anything like what it looks like in this video, but the front of the house, I had a certain idea, and unfortunately what I'm thinking, like what I was thinking of how it should look, is not really possible in The Sims, just because walls are all straight, floors are all straight, like they're all at 90-degree angles, and I wanted kind of like warped walls and bent walls and floors that are uneven and slightly tilting and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately, not exactly possible. I mean, technically, if I wanted a tilted floor, I could visually make one with a roof or with some other objects and mess around with it, but I also do want these builds to be, you know, sort of functional for you guys, because I don't know, I like to build and just have fun and do whatever I want, but I also like the idea of people actually being able to use it without having to go in and completely redoing the entire build. So yeah, it's a little bit like I want to build whatever I want, but also I want to try and make sure that it's usable for you guys. So yeah, and I also don't playtest. I don't really like the idea of playtesting. It means playing the game, and I just don't do that. So yeah, I try and build as best I can. And from what I know about The Sims and what I've seen, I do actually watch a lot of people play The Sims, despite being someone who doesn't really like to play it. I do watch a lot of people who do actually play it, so I do know that there is certain things that you'd think your Sims wouldn't be able to walk around there, but they actually can and whatnot. But even in those circumstances, I really try not to have that situation happen, because I just want to make sure it is usable without having to worry, without having to be like, is it not? I don't know. I'm gonna have to playtest, aren't I? It's just easier to not even have to worry. So yeah, I would say 80% of my builds, or 80% of each build is usable. Like, I always make sure the bathroom is usable. You know, your sim needs to be able to go to the bathroom, have a shower, wash their hands. Same with the kitchen, they need to be able to eat. And I would say that's all that I really focus on, but even things like bookcases and chairs and skill items, I always try to make sure they're usable. And actually with this build, there's quite a few skill items. So there are a couple of easels, I think there's two. There's a woodworking table, there's the punching bag, the boxing bag, whatever it's called. I don't know if darts is a skill, but it's definitely a hobby. So yeah, there's the piano in there. There is the music stereo thing. It's not called a stereo, but yeah, it's a place to listen to music, which I know some people do complain about having stereos and things like that, because your Sims will just continuously dance, but dancing is a skill. And yeah, there is a computer, so that if you've got any computer skills, there is computing abilities, and I don't think there is anything else. I think I did have a bonsai tree at some point, and I got rid of that. I don't know. It didn't feel right. It didn't really match, so I just got rid of it. Didn't want it, so I didn't have it. But yeah, there's still quite a few items in here for your Sims to mess around with, learn skills and whatnot. I guess cooking, gourmet cooking, baking, they're all available as well. But yeah, when I say skills, I'm more thinking not homemaking skills, because yeah, in my mind, like, the kitchen's always going to be free, so that's just a given. But I probably should add those just in case you are wondering. Yes, kitchen skills are available. I would say any residential build I do, there's always availability to do kitchen related skills. I don't know about like the very specific kitchen skills. Like, I don't know if the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack came with its own skill. There's no Home Chef Hustle stuff here, so if there is, then unfortunately no, but cooking, gourmet cooking, and baking should be available. But yeah, I've been trying to add more skills to my homes recently. I don't know, like, I watch a lot of people do gameplay, and it's just more convenient to have those skills on your lot, or the ability to learn those skills on your lot, rather than having to go through 1,000 load screens to get to those items. Or, you know, if you do gameplay and you don't like building, having to go and add it yourself. And I know that's like, ugh, okay, that sounds so lazy. I could just go and add that item myself. But like, I get some people just don't want to enter build mode. It's not their thing. And so, yeah, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. I don't want to make people feel like they've got to do, like I want to try and make the build as useful and easy to use as possible. So yeah, if you're ever wanting to have a build with a lot of skills, I'm definitely, yeah, like I said, I'm definitely trying to add more because it's so much more convenient to have those things already there. And yeah, I don't think there's any other skills from what I've listed. But yeah, I just go around adding. I think I just finish up this upstairs area and then I go out and do all of the landscaping. Now, to slightly pivot, it is related to landscaping. I have been looking at some of the Get to Nature videos that people are coming out with, and for a pack with the word nature in its title, now I know nature is actually in its title. I call it Get to Nature. It's enchanted by nature, but still, for a game with the word nature in its title, there doesn't seem to be a lot of plants, like outdoor landscapey type plants. And they're also put in the wrong categories from what I've seen. And I just don't understand that. Like, why? It's a pack about nature. Why would we not have nature in the pack about nature? I'm a little confused about that. Don't get me wrong, like the rest of the build items are really, really cool. I think I'll definitely use some of those items and enjoy them. It's not necessarily my build style, but yeah, it's something that I feel like, yeah, for a pack about nature, maybe a few more. And even like the debug stuff, there's not a lot of debug nature stuff. There's a couple of trees, a couple of bushes, that's it. And then yeah, the nature stuff is not even in the nature category, like the landscaping category. I'm pretty sure you find is it called wisteria? I think that's in the indoor plant category or the wall category or something like that. I don't know. It's a little curious. I think a lot of people are going to be upset about it, and I think that's a fair thing to be upset about. It would be like if the horse ranch pack didn't come with like the ability to make barns or like the horse bed or something like that. Like sure, it, you know, Get to Nature has some plant stuff and it's all about living off the land and it's got fairies and all this other stuff, but like what about the whole concept of the actual I don't know, nature? I don't know. I feel like if I were a part of EA and making these decisions, I'm sure there's some sort of logical thing behind it, but yeah, I just definitely, I want people to be aware of that. I don't have access to the pack. I haven't even bought it yet. I don't buy things until I can see the, like, what's coming in it, and actually we can now. Now that the early access is available, you can see what's a part of it, but I still haven't got it just yet. I will. I reckon I will, but it's one of those things where I think I just have to find that one item that I am absolutely in love with, and then I will absolutely go nuts with that item once I buy it. But yeah, until then, I'm not entirely sure it's for me. But I know for sure a lot of people are going to be buying it just for the fairies, but again, I'm not a game player, so it's something that's kind of like, do I get it? Do I not? I don't know. I'll probably end up getting it eventually. Probably sometime this month. I mean, it does come out this month. I'm pretty sure it comes out actually this week. But I'm not sure I will actually end up getting it this week. It'll probably be sometime, I don't know, maybe in like a week or two. It's just something that, yeah, I'm not too sure is exactly for me. I'll let a few other people get it and hear their feedback, and see what they do with it, how they use it and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. Also, with the landscaping with this build, I kind of went a little bit crazy. You might see that in some places I do put the landscaping items down specifically. Specifically this one plant. I have no idea what it is, but it's just a very blank plant. But then yeah, in the rest of the blank spots, you'll see that I kind of just, I'm just placing it down as fast as I can and kind of twisting it as I place it so that it's kind of got a bit of different shape and texture to it, so it's not the same thing over and over again. it definitely sped things up a lot. If I had done it slower, like you'll see the parts where I'm like creating the edge of where the plants are, it's a lot slower. If I had done it at that pace, I would have been here for hours landscaping, but I didn't. I just went in and threw all those plants down and then, yeah, found some more, threw them down, and just kept doing that until I was happy. Landscaping's not really a strength of mine. It's something I kind of just make up as I go along. And I feel like a lot of people do that and it looks good when they do it, but I'm not sure it looks good when I do it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm doing it the way it's meant to be and the way it'll look good, but I don't know. I'm just having fun with it, being silly, chucking random things down and hoping for the best. Also, I could have done this build in, pretty sure it's cottage living. What's that? Henford on Bagel, that's what I call it. In that world, I've already done a swamp type build, and it looked really good because there's all these trees already around, so it kind of, like, when you're looking through the trees I put, there is a tiny bit of a gap, but you can't really tell because there's those other trees behind it. But here, yeah, there's just open sky, and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. So, yeah, it probably would have been better over there, but I don't know, I wanted to give this lot a try, and I'm not too mad with how it turned out. And I think the lighting is a little bit better. I don't know, some lots the lighting is just like, ugh, what are we even doing in this lot? Like, this lighting is terrible. But in other ones, it's like, no, it's actually not that bad. That's actually pretty good lighting. So, yeah, a lot of the, I'd say not all of them, but a few of them, yeah, I definitely pick the lot just because of the lighting, or I won't pick a lot just because of the lighting. I'm not entirely sure why that's exactly a thing. Again, not a game developer, not a software person. I barely know how to turn my computer on some days. So yeah, I'm not sure why that's really a thing, but it is a little annoying. And I do feel like a lot of people are a little bit over it, you know? They just want they just want milk that tastes like real milk, you know? I feel like a lot of people are not going to understand that, and to those who don't, I'm sorry, but if you get it, you get it. But yeah, you know, you just want a lot that has good lighting. You just want it to work, and I'm very much a person who I just want things to work. I don't like things when they don't work, and I can get a little bit bit grumpy, a bit like a toddler when they don't work. Because yeah, things should work. I'll be honest, I don't really go around having temper tantrums everywhere, but I'll like jokingly have one at home with like my roommates and friends and stuff like that when I'm complaining. But if things don't actually work, then yeah, I'll try and look into it and figure out what's wrong and find a solution. And when I don't know what the solution is, I ask the people who do know. Which is generally what I do, because, yeah, 90% of the time, no idea what's going on, no idea how to fix things, no idea how to make things work. But anyway, we're pretty much at the end of this video here. You'll just see me do some last-minute landscaping around the back here. I was sort of losing steam with this build a little bit, so I did kind of, I don't want to say cheat with it, but yeah, I did just kind of skip a few parts with the landscaping. So there are a few blank spots with the landscaping, but you can't really tell when you're at the level of a sim, and taking screenshots, that was kind of the aim. So yeah, I'm not exactly mad that it turned out this way, but you know, whatever. But yeah, if you liked what you saw in this build and you want to see more stuff like this, or if you enjoyed my ramblings, which I apologize if you don't, definitely make sure to subscribe. I do come out with a new video pretty much every single day, just not the last 2 to 3 days of February, depending on if it's a leap year or not, because I do the A to Z challenge during that month. There is a link down below to the A to Z challenge if you want to check it out and be a part of it. It is currently running. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys.